Hi there, my name is Nobu Kumalo. If it's your first time here, welcome to my channel and I hope you stay. And if you're coming back, thank you so much for your continued support. Welcome back. You guys will have to forgive me. I'm a bit fluey, so my voice is a bit murky, but yeah, welcome to my channel. And to those of you who are new here, welcome. I am Nobu Kumalo. Like I said, I am a wife, I'm a sister, I am a lawyer, an attorney, and I live in the UK. And this channel is about me just sharing life through my lenses, life through my experiences. Sometimes we go serious and discuss like deep, stuff, adulting stuff, and other times we just keep it light and free and lighthearted like that. And today's one of those days where we're just gonna keep it nice and light and easy. So it's Women's Month in South Africa, but for background, I am Zimbabwean. I lived in South Africa for about 4 years during my uni, and then I moved to the UK. So as much as it's not Women's Day in Zimbabwe or in the UK, because of my few years in South Africa, I sometimes like celebrating their holidays. And I mean, come on, they really do well in celebrating different things. So it's Women's Month this month in South Africa, and I started to think about my journey with womanhood, right? How that has transitioned through the years. Granted, fine, I haven't always been a woman. I was a girl at some point, like a teen girl, and then I became a lady and then a woman. So there's those different stages. I think about 6 or so months ago, someone DM'd me asking me how it is that I've built confidence. Like they're saying, how can I become confident? I guess they were basing off the fact that I seem or appear confident from my YouTube videos from the screen, right? And so that question and me thinking about womanhood led me to this video today. And I just thought, let's have a light-hearted chat about my journey with womanhood, right? So my awareness of womanhood when being a woman started being a thing where it wasn't just like they're girls, they're boys were playing and having fun and growing up together, I think was in high school. So I was always a not scrawny, but I was a skinny child, right? All through my primary and much of my high school years. So I was always a skinny child. And in primary school, it didn't really matter. I think a lot of us were skinny. It was fine. But I remember when I got to high school, and suddenly there were these people who were supposed to be the same age, but like they're bigger in size. And I was just like tiny. I was really tiny. And even compared to my sister was slim, but she was not tiny. At least she was tall, right? So she was slim and tall, but I was like short and slim and skinny and tiny, right? One of the teachers actually gave me a nickname called Smaller, because I was small, I was tiny, right? So from almost day one of my high school, I was known as Smaller, the tiny girl. There was another girl, my good friend Ivy, who was also like small like me, but I got the name. She didn't get the name for whatever reason, but it was fine. And then fast forward to my A-levels, I got selected as a prefect, right? But now in my head, because of this image that I had now had of myself, which is that I'm a small tiny girl, I believed that no one would really take me seriously. I felt like to show up with power, to show up with presence, to show up as someone who has authority, you needed to look a certain way. I think part of the reason for that is that, I don't know if it happens with every stream, that when you're in Form 1, which is grade 8, for those of you who don't know, when you're in grade 8, those in Matric or in Upper 6, they look so much bigger than you, right? They look like women. They look like grown women, right? So from all my years during high school, I was looking at those women who were like in Upper 6, and I thought they're so big and I'm so small. So by the time I got there to Upper 6, I hadn't grown into their size, because I kind of thought, oh, maybe they're big because they're older. But then I got to my A-levels and I still wasn't that size, and now I'd been given this authority. I had to be a prefect. I needed to command authority and respect. And I felt like no one's going to take me seriously because I'm just so tiny. Like there's so many other juniors who are like bigger or taller than me. And so to navigate that, to sort of command or demand respect, which shouldn't happen, respect should just come on its own, but I had to demand respect in a way, I resorted to having a serious, strict demeanor, right? So I became that prefect who was like, no nonsense, strict, I will punish you right there, I'm not laughing with you, I'm not smiling with you, I'm not your friend, right? I just showed up as that person who's like, this is what we're doing and this is how we're doing it, no nonsense here, no games, right? And I'm sure people at that time didn't know what was going on behind me. Maybe they just thought I was just that girl who was, I don't know, power hungry, or just wanted to show that, I'm finally perfect. But what I didn't know is that for me, it was a shield that I was putting on to say, I know you're not going to give me due respect because I don't look like a figure of authority. So I'm going to make you give it to me, because if you don't give it to me, there'll be consequences for it. And I didn't pay much attention, but I knew that during those days, I wasn't like everyone's favorite. I wasn't really people's favorite prefect because of that strictness, right? But the funny thing is, translated to post high school, right? Because I kind of thought people would hold that against me for the rest of my life. But like now, in my post high school years, I've had so many people who I was a prefect over who, for one, support my YouTube channel. Some of you are watching this, support my YouTube channel. Some I met later in life, and they were so nice. And be it Instagram, be it Facebook, wherever, like all the people that I thought probably hate me to their core because of how hardcore I've been to them, have shown up and extended me the most grace, and have been nice and warm and kind, and some of them call me big sis and all that. And it's just been, it's just been amazing. So fast forward, I moved to uni. I'm still small, remember. I moved to uni, the University of Pretoria, and again, when I get there, the house parent, so to speak, because I was in Res. I remember her saying to my mom, "Oh my gosh, she's so tiny. Are you sure she's supposed to be in uni?" That time, I took a gap year before my uni, right? So I was already a year older than the people who were going to be first year with me. And again, I found myself as a small girl. And now even worse, because, uni, you have people from all walks of life. Yes, I was a year older than generally the year of the people who are in first year, but you have some people maybe who've done other degrees, or who are just older, or didn't have opportunities or money to come to university earlier. So you now have like people are women, big women, and again the tiny scrawny girl. And so because of that, I kind of just withdrew into myself, and I just focused on my books. I just told myself that, you know what, a lot of things might not work out for me, but one thing that's going to work out for me is that I'm going to be that brainy ass child, right? So I just buried my head in my books. I think a lot of people who I was in uni with, some might know my face but had never said a word to me. Neither did I say a word to them. Remember, I wasn't trying to entertain conversation. I was just like, I'm here for school, and that's all I'm gonna do. But I do have like a few friends that quite a few friends that are still my friends now, that I made along the journey, even in my quietness. But they're also quiet in their in their own ways. I think about 6 months into my first year, I started gaining weight, right? And there's two things. So all along, when I used to struggle and complain about my weight and how tiny I am, my mom was like, "You're still a teen, you're not yet a woman. You haven't grown into your woman body." Again, I probably should have taken it seriously, because my mom is, she's got prisons, right? She's got, my mom, umfazi, right? So I should have maybe taken cues to say, probably going to look like her. Even my aunts from my dad's side, they're not tiny and slim. They, they have stature. But at that time, to me, it didn't matter. So 6 months into my first year, when I started gaining weight, I was wondering if this is just time and that I'm becoming a woman, or if it's GMO, or what. I don't know what it, like. I just failed to figure out what it was. And I remember when I went back home for the end of first semester, one of my friends was literally like, "Is this you who, like, when you smile, now your cheeks close, your eyes?" Never would I have thought that you'd gain weight, and we laughed about it. And so I gained weight, and I sort of grew into my woman body. And then some point in 2020, after I got married, I gained too much weight, and now I had a problem with, my weight. So it became an extreme where I came from where I was so skinny and trying to gain weight to a point where I felt like, this is not what I want to look like. This cannot be me. And I started missing the olden days when I could eat and not gain weight. So it's like, that's one of the things about womanhood. It's like there's a constant chasing of something. It's either you're chasing to be bigger and look like others, or you're chasing to be smaller, or you're chasing to be taken seriously, or you're chasing, like, it feels like a rat race that you can't win. And it doesn't help, especially nowadays with social media. There's a lot of noise, and there's a lot of things that we should be doing. So it's either now you're chasing the next big job, or you're chasing becoming an influencer, you're chasing numbers, you're chasing YouTube, you're chasing the big holidays that people go on, you're chasing the long hair, you're chasing the self-care days, and all being made up. And it just felt, womanhood has felt a lot like constant chasing, a constant doing, a constant going after something, and just never zen, like peace, And when I was transitioning into becoming a wife again, my ideas of what a woman and a wife were came from what I saw my mother be, right? My mom was the rock. My mom would cook every day, and she just knew how to take care of things. My mom was a teacher, but she, between marking books after school and cooking and taking care and still getting back to bed on time, she seemed to have things figured out, and she could, even up to today, my mom cooks every single day. And then I transitioned into womanhood, and now I am working this job, and in my head I'm supposed to be a wife who cooks for her husband every single day. And I remember I tried it during lockdown. I started my job during lockdown, so that was a bit easy because I could, step away from the computer for a bit to cook. So I tried that, but once everything started up and I had to commute to the office and late hours, I remember a time when I felt like I was failing at being a wife because I wasn't being the wife that I saw my mother be, right? I had seen my mother take intricate care of us and my dad and make sure that everything runs well, and she seemed to do it effortlessly, but I was battling under pressure. I couldn't even cook daily because by the time I got home it's 8 p.m. and now if I'm thinking I'm starting to cook, meaning we eat at 9 p.m. and then I have to go to bed in time to be up for work, and sometimes even when I got home there would still be more work to do. For a long time I felt like I was failing at being a wife, but then that's where came the role of a supportive partner. So we had to sit down together and to say, okay, fine, I know this is the image that you had of womanhood, of wifehood, of taking care of a home. It was shaped by the lens of the people who came before you, how you saw your mother be, right? But think about your circumstances. Think about the circumstances in which she thrived in that, department, and try and match it to what you're doing now. So for example, like I was saying, my mom is a teacher and yes, she had marking, but she sort of had set work hours. I do not really have set work hours. It's supposed to be 9 to 5, but we know anyone who's in corporate, especially in maybe auditing and law and investment banking, that the hours are long. So already my mom had more leverage than I had to be more present, and so I had to have the difficult conversation to see that as much as I admire to be my mom, there's some things I might not be able to do, not because I don't want to, but because life has not afforded me that. And so I had to sit with my partner had to say, you're not failing at being a wife. We have to work together. We are a team, and everything that we ultimately do is to take care of the home together and take care of each other. And I felt liberated by him saying that he doesn't have all those expectations on me, of me, that I should do A, B, C, that he wants his food hot and all that. And this is not to say I then said, oh, fine, you're not just my roommate. As much as I can, I still do not show up as much as I can and do all those things that are traditional roles where time and strength allows me to. But he sort of liberated me to say, look, I'm an able-bodied grown-up man. I can also take care of myself, right? He works from home all the time. I go to the office. So we had to also have that conversation that obviously you are at home more. I am out of home, more than you are. So how do you balance between, keeping the house in tip-top shape and cooking and all that stuff? And we came to an agreement about what works for us. And so now, because of that, because I've freed myself from the shackles of what society expects me to be, freed myself from the expectation that I placed on myself to be a certain type of woman, and allowed myself to be the best woman that I can be in the given circumstances that I'm in. I'm in a place now where I am at peace. I have outsourced what I can outsource. I schedule what I can schedule. There's some Sundays where I really am just tired and I just want to sleep in and not do anything, and that doesn't make me feel like less of a woman. I'll make up for it sometime in the week or the next Sunday. I've just allowed myself to just ease into this womanhood, ease into being a woman, the way that I, as an individual with individual circumstances and individual, limits and strength and power, can show up. And so, yeah, that has been my journey with womanhood, from lack of confidence to overcompensating to feeling inadequate to a place where I'm like, I'm doing the best that I can. I'm striving to be better each day, but today I'm showing up as my best self. So happy Women's Month to all of you in South Africa. I hope you free yourself from the expectations of society. I hope you give yourself and extend yourself a little more grace than the world tends to extend women. And I hope you know that you're doing great and you're doing amazing and that you are loved and you're appreciated. Thank you for your time. I'll see you guys again next time. Goodbye.